Hey, what's happening to you guys? Pyros here and welcome back to another video. So I just got done watching the leaked gameplay footage for Square Enix's Marvel Avengers, and for the most part we got to see gameplay for both Thor and Iron Man. And for the most part, like, if I'm being honest with you, the gameplay looked actually pretty okay-ish. It didn't look bad, it didn't look anything like what I feared it was going to be based on some of the other leaked information that we've gotten in the past. But actually seeing the gameplay itself and then seeing how the game kind of segues from cutscenes to actual gameplay, the transition was pretty nice. I won't lie, it looked pretty nice. The combos look pretty kind of interesting as well. We know that this game is going to be kind of like a Destiny type multiplayer aspect, so I wasn't expecting like intense over the top combos or anything like that. But for what we saw for both Thor's combos and what he can do with Muna and all that stuff, it looked pretty interesting. And then we saw the segment of Iron Man flying. The flying segment looked pretty off for me personally ever since I played Anthem. Now I know Anthem is kind of not in the best of positions, but one of the things that Anthem was able to nail down perfectly was the flying segment, like being able to fly in your I forgot what the name of those mechs were, but the mech suits. It was pretty awesome, and I see a little bit of that in this Iron Man segment, but at the same time I don't know how it's gonna be when you actually play it. Now we saw both, well, I saw basically, I don't know if the gameplay footage is still up. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description below for you guys to see, but I doubt it's gonna be still available. I think maybe someone's gonna try and shut it down. But eventually we saw that you can still fly even when you're in this section of fighting various mobs and all that stuff. So Thor, when he was fighting a couple of bad guys, he also took up in the air and he stayed up in the air for a bit while unleashing some of his attacks. Now, I don't know how long he's going to be able to stay up in the air like that, but it did look pretty cool. I've seen some people in the comments section of that video, and some people as well discussing it on Twitter, saying that the gameplay looked generic, like the combos look generic. It looked like it's going to be very boring very quickly. But I like to counteract that point by saying that this is probably an early stage of the gameplay itself. We don't know what the actual full gameplay experience is going to be like near endgame, and we also don't know how many move sets you'll end up unlocking as you progress through the story. So for the most part, this may be in the first few, I guess, levels of the game itself. Like, probably I would say it's still around the introduction area of teaching you what you can do and what you can do in the game itself. So in that sense, it already looked pretty impressive to me. It looked pretty impressive in that stage. Like, I don't want to like hype it up too much. Like, I know I used the word impressive, but it looked okay. Like, it looked okay. Like, I keep jumping up and down in terms of my impression here, but I don't want to hype it up because it's too soon. I think that gameplay that was shown was a very controlled situation. I don't know how much freedom you'll have in terms of exploration, because we know that they were fighting on the I don't know what bridge that was. I think, was it the Golden Bridge? I have no idea. We know he was fighting in that stage, so we don't know how much freedom they'll have in terms of moving around. Is it going to be a very linear experience where you won't be able to move around as much and there'll be invisible walls preventing you from going to a certain section, or is it going to be like instant based, but the world is going to be like kind of like semi-open or maybe quasi-open or something like that, where you can explore, you can feel like you have this freedom to approach any mission however you want. But I don't know, because this is going to be a very story oriented game, so leniency might be expected. But yeah, for the most part, it was a very interesting gameplay. I did notice that they fixed up a little bit of some of the facial expression in the game itself. Like, I know when they first revealed the Avengers, all of them had very generic faces. Like, they looked disgusting. I'm gonna be honest with you, they really look disgusting. We were expecting them to have more refined faces. I don't know what it is. There was just something about that face that just seemed bland with no personality behind them. But now I think with Thor had a little bit more structure to his face, and he had more, I guess, personality to it. We didn't see Iron Man's face. Oh, I think we did maybe. No, we didn't. We didn't see Iron Man's face. But yeah. Anyways, we saw a screenshot of what Black Widow looked like, at least, and she looked pretty better. She looks a lot better than what we saw previously, where she looked really bad. But anyways, that's just my thoughts and opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. If you've seen the gameplay, what you thought of it, and if you haven't, then you know you just have to wait until Gamescom 2019, because they're gonna be revealing the gameplay after Gamescom concludes. So it's gonna be, I think, around the 20th to the 23rd of August, I believe. I'm not too sure, but that's around the range I'm thinking of. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'm Pyros, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.